Well, hello, I'm Scott Stevens, Goldsboro City Manager, here for our July monthly update. We talked about summer getting here. Summer actually is here now. I think we had certainly one of the hottest Junes, at least days in a row that I remember. I don't know about official weather counts, but it certainly was in the 90s for quite a bit of time. We're in first week of July here, and it's really continuing to that. And still for me, I enjoy summertime, and I would, so I'm outside a lot, and I would, I guess, wish each of you a happy summer, encourage you to enjoy being outdoors, but also be cautious in the heat, because that does things to people as well. So if you're outside a lot during the summer in the heat, please look after your kids and yourself, and of course elderly people, that your friends or family. So, and along with summer comes hurricane season. You know, there's nothing on the horizon at this point, but we're always told to be able to take care of our family for several days, so 3 to 4 days, that you need to have enough supplies on hand, that if stores weren't open and that kind of thing, that you'd have the ability to take care of your family. So plenty of warning coming with those. Nothing on the horizon at this point as we film this, but certainly we're in the midst of hurricane season, and we've seen our share in July and August in past years. Trash and litter, you know, Goldsboro really has a lot of nice things about it. We also have trash and litter in a lot of areas, and I would just encourage all of us to do our part to clean it up. Report people if you see them throwing trash. Encourage people not to litter. The city is picking up trash through some form or fashion on almost a daily basis. If you have an area you think we ought to be addressing, please don't hesitate to call us from code enforcement if we need property owners to take care of their area, or if it's areas that our crews should work on. But let's do what we can to make Goldsboro a better place. Again, it's still a very high priority for our city council. They talk about it on regular intervals at their meetings, but it really is a problem that we as the citizens living here have to address ourselves and want to make it better. And that's one of those things we can overcome. So if you have ideas or need some assistance with that, please don't hesitate to give me a call. The F-86, we've talked about that aircraft a number of times. We moved it to Seymour Johnson. They have renovated it or refurbished it, repainted it, made it look very nice again. We're doing the final preparation of bringing it back to downtown, and we've talked about it going behind the Wings sign at Ash and Center Street. At one time, we talked about an orientation where the plane would point to the west. We discussed that with City Council at their first July meeting and suggested that maybe the plane sort of fly as it's going into downtown, so the nose would come over the wings with a slight tilt to the aircraft. So as you come around the north side of that traffic circle, you ought to be able to see the top half of the aircraft. And so that's what we're planning at this point. Council liked that orientation of the plane. We hope to move the plane back downtown toward the end of August and actually get it up on the pedestal sometime in September. So I hope we'll have a better update for you in August, and then really plan a community event around bringing the plane back downtown. Again, we've talked about trying to do that early one Saturday morning so that those that want to get up and see it move back downtown could be part of that without disrupting too much of the normal business or commercial flow that would move along Ash Street. So more to come on that, but again, I think we're close to moving that back downtown in the coming months, and certainly ahead of our streetscape project being completed. We had a couple of retirees in June. One is a utility maintenance mechanic, a gentleman named Kenny Cornigi, retired from Public Works with over 31 years of service, and I want to thank him for his service, along with many other employees who spent a lot of their lives working for the city of Goldsboro. And again, if somebody stays here 31 years, I hope they've enjoyed most of it, and really it shows we're not a bad place to work. Also on that, we talked an awful lot this past month about our police chief, Jeff Stewart, who had moved on or was going to retire, and we thank Jeff for his 28 years of service to the Goldsboro community. And I will tell you, we've also introduced Mike West, who has served as a major in our police department, who will be our interim police chief. Mike has more than 23 years of service with the Goldsboro Police Department. He's a graduate of Eastern Wayne High School and basic law enforcement training from Wayne Community College. He's attended a number of training programs over the years, and one that we send all of our captains to. It's a 12-week class for administrative officers and management program, which does management and leadership. Chief West began his career with the city as a patrol officer in '92, became a sergeant in 1999, became a captain in 2006, and was promoted to major in 2010. So in my time working with Mike West over these last 4 years, I have found him to be very knowledgeable, responsive, and willing to do whatever was asked of him. And Chief Stewart, who had worked with him the past 23 years, had very positive comments about his ability, and Mike had an interest in being our chief. So at this point, he is Chief West, will be our interim chief, and for me, he'll serve in that role for a few months to let him see what the role actually entails. It's one thing to watch a job, it's another to be in the job for a period of time. And then sometime this fall, I'd post this position with the goal of hiring the best person to be our police chief in a permanent fashion sometime in February of 2016. So we're working through that process, but no rush. I have full confidence in Chief West to carry the department forward over these next 6 to 9 months, and look forward to working with him more closely. I would encourage you, anybody who doesn't know Chief West, to reach out to him, to say hello, to contact his office. He can be reached at 580-4231. Again, the Chief's office, 580-4231. But I know he's excited about his new role and challenge with the city, and I'm delighted to have he and the other staff and officers within our police department serving our community. Also have one other change coming that some may know of in the manager's office. 2 years ago, I was looking for an assistant manager. I found 2 different personalities, and so I ended up with 2 assistant managers and reorganized. So position-wise, I had the same number of positions, just organized and titled differently. And Angel Wright Lanier, we hired in September in 2013, and she is leaving us for a similar position in Mooresville, which is right outside of Charlotte. So again, gets her in a little bigger market, a little closer to her daughter. And again, she's leaving us at the end of July. So I've enjoyed working with Angel these past almost 2 years, and certainly wish her well, and would encourage you to give her a call before the end of July, because July 24th is her last day with the city of Goldsboro. And then looking to the future, I'll probably take an opportunity to look, can we reorganize the group again? And again, whether we eliminate a position or retitle a position or leave what we have in place, but I'll be working through that process over the coming months. So more to come on that. We continue to update council on our conversion to fully automated trash collection. For many residents, I hope you haven't noticed a change of anything, that your garbage, you put it outside, somebody picks it up, and at the end of the day, it's empty. For many of you, I think that has been fairly seamless. For others, at least some of the areas that overall, Public Works staff tells me it's going very well, so we appreciate the residents who have worked with us in making that go so well, and our staff as well. The 2 main problems we hear are the containers are still overflowing, which means a gentleman in a one-arm truck or that fully automated truck is 1 person in the truck versus what used to be 3. So as the driver, to make it efficient, it's the idea that this arm on the side of the truck can pick it up and service that container without the operator getting out of the truck. If the operator has to get out of the truck due to overflow around the garbage can, it just slows him down and his efficiency drops. So over time, we've got to get it so all the trash is in the containers, and we're working on that. Some areas are complying very nicely. Other parts of our city, we still have some work to do in trying to get people to comply, because at the end of it, we'll either have fines that we put for non-compliance, or we won't service the containers. So you'll end up with garbage that's not being picked up in a timely manner, and we can't do that very long, or extra fees that residents are paying, and that's certainly not our goal either. So if you have questions on that, please don't hesitate to call the manager's office or Public Works and let us work through the issues with that. And we've tried utility bill stuffers. We've had good coverage in our newspaper. We've done a lot on the website. We've done segments for Channel 10. I've talked about it here, and we'll send out utility bill stuffers again, trying to reemphasize the importance of putting everything in the container, and then the positioning of the container is really number 2. So between the overflow around the container being the biggest problem currently, and the can positioning, so that one, it's not so close to your mailbox. We really need 3 feet around the can so the arms can reach around and grab it and dump it. So you need space between the other can when it's your recycling day, because those are generally out the same day. But again, it's coming along very well, and we thank everybody for that. And one interesting complaint we heard is that some folks are missing the garbage pickup because in the past they could hear the trucks coming down the road, and our older garbage trucks made a little more noise. The quietness of these fully automated trucks, while a benefit, also takes away some of that early warning signal for some of our residents. So it's just interesting what you hear and what people get dependent upon in terms of getting their garbage service. But again, we'll work with you on that. Council's willing for us to continue on with some temporary help and trying to teach people and residents how to place the container and their trash rather than just trying to be on the enforcement mode. But more to come on that. And again, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We talked an awful lot about LGC, or Local Government Commission, and other things with our council through the month of June. I will tell you we closed on a $7.2 million loan with Sterling Bank during the month of June that were for funding projects, the W.A. Foster Recreation Center that we have talked about for a number of years, and the Goldsboro Country Club renovation project. So again, $7.2 million loan. It was approved in June, and we transferred our money in June. So the city did close on that loan in June, which was good for our year because our year ends at June 30th. With that said, we have awarded, or the council has awarded, the construction of W.A. Foster, and if you haven't been out to see that, T.A. Loving has moved on site and is moving dirt around very quickly. Mina Will Pool is still open and operating. You just may have to park a little further out to walk in through the fenced area. But again, that's about a 9-month project. So we're talking March, April, having a new W.A. Foster Center, and I look forward to that. And we'll provide updates as we go forward in time on the status of our construction there. But an exciting project and really a long overdue project in terms of a need to replace the existing W.A. Foster Center. The Goldsboro Country Club renovation, Council also awarded just under a $500,000 contract to renovate the country club and basically install some new bathrooms and renovate some of the existing bathrooms. Structurally, the only thing we're changing, or the biggest change within the country club, will be the kitchen area. It had a large full-service kitchen. We're going to turn that into 2/3 of it bathrooms, locker rooms for our golf pro shop, and bathrooms for all of the meeting space. And then the other third will be a catering or warming kitchen. So basically, for those who have ever visited the country club, the space will look the same. It will just look updated, meaning new carpets, new paint on the wall. Structurally, it'll be very similar. And then from a standpoint of lighting, we'll have same kind of canister lights, but they'll be a dimmable LED. So it can be very bright, or you can dim it down and have a much more intimate setting if you have a wedding function or something that you don't want quite as bright lights. But a little more functionality to the space, and we hope that that'll be open in late fall. So more to come on that, but I'm hoping by November we will have the ability to book events in there. And if you have interest, please don't hesitate to contact the manager's office, and we'll talk to you about that. We're not taking reservations at this point, but we are hoping that we can work towards the holiday season and having events at the Goldsboro Country Club. Still looking for a name, so anybody with good ideas, don't hesitate to let us know either. We'd like something that does refer to it with golf and events, but we haven't quite figured out what the best name for that might be. The council did approve the budget June 1st. We talked about that at the last monthly update, but also June 30th was the end of year. And again, there was conversation about the city's fund balance, and I've heard several people in the community say, is the city okay financially? And we did have an issue with a restated audit late last year. So our audit for 2014, meaning June 30th, 2014, had showed that we had $3.3 million in money that we could do whatever we needed to with. Because of a settlement we had paid and timing of how we were moving money around, a restated audit was done in about March or April of 2015, which took that $3.3 million down to $600,000, which sounded like a low number, and quite frankly that is. But we knew that was a point in time, and what we had talked about with the Local Government Commission and our borrowing as we were going through that process is we felt like at the end of June 2015, our fund balance would be back up to about a $5 million amount. And so that does tend to be where we are. We won't have an audited figure on that until probably October or November, because we collect revenues up until September that we put back into this current fiscal year because they're delayed in how we collect them. But again, our finance director feels really good about how the year is ending, and I just want to reassure the community that from a fund balance or savings standpoint within our general fund, the city is in a good position. We could always have more savings, but from a standpoint of being in a good place according to the Local Government Commission and where our council has set our goals, we feel very comfortable with the $5 million level. And then we have about another $4 million in cash that is a 8% state requirement. So you have about $9 million in cash in our general fund that's available should we have an emergency or some unforeseen event within the community that the general fund could pay for. And then more than that in our utility fund as well. So overall, I guess my message is if you have questions, we're happy to talk more about it, but financially the city is certainly stable and not in a decreasing position. Street resurfacing, we're talking about that. We talked about a list with our city council at their retreat in March of 2015. We brought it back to them in July, and we'll be talking about it through the month of July. In our retreat in March, we showed them a list of streets based on a pavement condition rating, where you go out and you actually ride all segments of city streets within the city, and you rate them, 0 being very poor condition, 100 being very good condition. We're into streets that are probably in the 30s and 40s in terms of pavement condition rating on average, but they need to be resurfaced. That list was almost $2 million, and there's certainly more beyond that could use resurfacing. Council budgeted $478,000, so that's what we have approved. So although we're showing a list of almost $2 million worth of streets that need to be resurfaced, we have just under $500,000 of money available. So again, we won't get to every street that we would say ought to be resurfaced, but we are making progress. And again, that's the debate we're having with council now. There are a number of streets throughout the city. One that probably gets as much segments on it right now is Madison Avenue between Ash and Royal. Some segment of that I think the council will approve, but we're still debating those lists. And there are a number of other streets, again, throughout the community that need to be resurfaced and are on this list. So if you're interested in that, that will be part of our council conversation. Our first meeting in July it will be our July 27th meeting as well. Center Street project, again, TA11 is still making very good progress on our Center Street project. Expect it to be complete in late October, early November, so a little ahead of schedule, and I hope they'll be able to hold to that, and we'll have some kind of scheduled community groundbreaking event when we get closer to knowing the actual date. We're also working through a public art selection. Some of you participated and given us an opinion on 11 or 12 pieces that we put out for comment. We shared 3 of those with City Council, and they had deferred back to our Public Art Committee to make the final selection, and these will be rotating pieces, so we're trying to select 2 to go in the roundabouts in downtown on Center Street, and again, we would have them for a year, and then the intent would be to rotate out and have new. So if you like them, great, they're going to be here for a year, and if you don't like them, great, they're only going to be here for a year, and then we'll change them out. And my guess is no matter what we put in those roundabouts, most of you are going to think it's okay, some of you are going to really love them, and some of you aren't. So again, that's how I find public art to be. It's just a matter of how it strikes you, but I think it will be exciting for our downtown, and it's generated a lot of enthusiasm for downtown. Also in June, the council approved ordering banners for our downtown. They were created by students here working with a local artist, and again, more to come on that, but we'll be unveiling those banners in the coming month, and you'll start seeing them on these new poles that are downtown. And then Christmas decorations, council authorized the ordering of about $20,000 in Christmas decorations so that when we open downtown this year and we get to the holiday time, we'll have wreaths and lights that will again be similar to what we had in the first block outside of City Hall, but continue that for the next 4 blocks. So while it will be a different form of decoration downtown, I still think it'll be a very beautiful downtown and very Christmassy feeling when that time comes. The UNC School of Government had worked in Goldsboro for about the past 6 months, their development finance initiative, where they basically looked at our MSD area, the residential areas beyond that, and some entranceways along Ash and Grantham Street into downtown, and really just study of the values and data, and spent a lot of time helping us sort through the area in terms of what we would see as a goal for our downtown community, increasing our underutilized space. And a lot of our underutilized space in downtown is the second story. So the first story in a lot of our buildings downtown, it's in a good usable market kind of rent space. It's the upstairs that are vacant currently and haven't been renovated or are not in productive use, where I think there's a lot of opportunity. And the Development Finance Initiative study really focused on the vacant lot at the Inner Center Street that the city owns as an opportunity for redevelopment. And we do have some interest in that lot, and then also focused on an area over Walnut Street where there's some activity. So again, we'll use that data. The next step would be to let them do an in-depth study at one of those locations, and we're working through that process now. But a lot of good data assembled by this group in our downtown core that we can use as we go forward in time. We continue to have a lot of interest in downtown, a number of closings and people relocating, and I hope folks will continue to do that. If you have an interest in downtown, don't hesitate to find me or our DGDC office on John Street. We'd be happy to at least show you available properties or talk to you about moving downtown or what we see as some of the opportunities for you. And there's a lot of opportunities throughout Goldsboro. Right now, downtown has just a different feel right now because of all the public investment going in and then the private investment that appears to be following as we had hoped. A lot of activities through the summer. We have lots of camps with our Parks and Recreation department, so I would tell you if you've missed out on those or think you've missed them, I know there's still opportunity coming up in July. I know there are golf and tennis camps. They happen pretty early to mid-July. It's on our website. If you can't find that, give us a call or call Parks and Recreation. We have a lot of summer camps going and activities to keep kids busy through most of August until they go back to school. So please don't think there's not anything you can do or afford. That there are a lot of opportunities out there. Some of them are very affordable. Some of them probably cost a little more, but I do think there are activities for your kids to participate in if you have an interest in that, and we certainly would be happy to share those that we're putting on, as well as others through the community. An event coming Saturday, July 18th is the Criterium Bicycle Run, and for those that didn't experience it last time, it's supposed to be a bicycle race similar to NASCAR on bikes. What I witnessed was not quite as bumpy the last time in terms of bicycles running into one another, and I certainly am not encouraging or hoping for that, but the race itself was at least an interesting experience for me and I think for others in Goldsboro. The route we've got shown here, and again, you may be able to see this map, but it'll start on William Street near the post office. It'll run south, turn on Chestnut. It'll come back up to Walnut, and then it'll go down Walnut for a block or so. It'll come back up to Mulberry, and then it'll come Mulberry back to Williams near the post office in the south on Mulberry, and that's the route. And that will be open and closed throughout the day on July 18th, which is a Saturday, and the races really 10 to about 3, and there'll be different races throughout that time frame. So I would certainly encourage you, if you're in town July 18th, to come out and just experience what a bicycle criterium is. It is a growing sport in many areas, and we'll see if it catches on and holds here. But we're happy to have him back for a second year, and we'll see how that goes. City Council had two other actions I'll share with you. They did approve a lease for use putting cell towers on one of our water tanks, specifically on the Harris Street water tank. Very commonly done throughout this state and country. One, I guess, protects us from having another tower being put up because the cell service is needed in this area. At least U.S. Cellular believes that it is, and the lease is with U.S. Cellular. So it eliminates another tower in the area that many people consider an eyesore, puts a crown on top of our existing tank. It will not affect the existing logo, and I don't think the appearance of the tank will be a negative appearance. I guess opinions will vary on antenna being on top, but I don't see that as a negative appearance for our water tank. We'll make sure that it doesn't affect the maintenance or longevity of our tank, and it'll generate one cell service up there. Will generate about $26,000 a year. That's the lease with U.S. Cellular. There's room for probably 2 to 3 other carriers, but $26,000 a year in lease payment is about 0.5% on our water rate, so it does help in our water rates because that money will go back into the water fund as a revenue source, which will help those of us that live here and use our water not have to cover that cost through rates. So any rate, if you see work around the Harris Street tank, that is what's going on there, and it will have a crown of antennas put on it in the coming months. One other thing I wanted to mention, that the city had acquired the former Gold's Inn property. We had torn down the Gold's Inn and acquired that property. We've been working with the property owner at the time who we had a lien on the property. He gave the property to the city. We had put it out there for sale, and we did receive an offer that the council had accepted of $630,000 for that property. So I hope we'll have more action on that in the coming months. The address was 808 Grantham Street. But again, something that now the person that's made the offer is doing their due diligence. They have about a 6-month time frame, but the council has accepted the offer if in fact they're able to do with the property what they expect to be able to do. So again, time will tell on the closing. Again, it's not sold until the money trades hands, but we feel very good at this point that that's moving along. Continues to be regular meetings with my counterpart at the county concerning the convention center. More to come on that. They're working to have some renderings out, I think, in late July. But pretty exciting project with the orientation on the site out beside Wayne Community College, and then the renderings and what the commissioners are really envisioning for that site. But I think it'll be a facility that the community is very proud of, and will get a lot of use throughout Wayne County and bringing others into our community to experience Wayne County and Goldsboro and support our businesses and our local economy. So again, an exciting project, and I thank the commissioners for allowing the city to work with them hand in hand on that project. Outside of that, I would tell you if you have questions or comments, please don't hesitate to call on me. You can reach my office anytime and leave a message there. You can also go to our city website. There's a citizen request tab. Click on that link and it will send an email into my office. We're also working to revise our website, so if you have an interest or suggestions, now's the time. You can at least email us, or there's surveys out there that you can share your opinion on what our website should look like or should offer, and we'd encourage you to do that. So if you have any questions, again, call me. We're here to serve, and we enjoy working with you on a daily basis. So thank you, and again, have a great summer.